Make no mistake, this season has been a disaster for the Toronto Raptors, but are they really starting to turn their season around after winning 3 straight games coming back from the NBA All-Star break? We're going to investigate what they've done differently in this run to win these games and if they can keep it up. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. This is Amateur Hour Sports, the YouTube channel completely dedicated to Toronto Raptors news coverage and analysis in videos just like this, as well as live stream watch parties for Raptors games. Drop a like if you enjoy what you see along the way and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all this great Raptors content. And because when we hit 17,000 subscribers in the channel, we're giving away 2 Scottie Barnes All-Star jerseys, and you're going to need to be subscribed to take advantage of that giveaway. Plus, get all this great Raptors content, as I mentioned. But today we're talking about the Raptors in a positive light. Very rarely this season have we talked about the Raptors in terms of actually playing well. It's probably been months we've actually had to have some conversations about what the Raptors have been doing well on the court, because it's been an ultra impressive 3-game win streak for the team. And of course, the 3-game win streak means the Darko Rajakovic pizza party, so to speak. Darko mentioned at the start of the season, or near the start of the season, that when the team wins 3 games in a row, he's going to treat the team to dinner. Somehow the meme has taken a life of its own. It's transitioned into Darko Rajakovic coming into the locker room with a bunch of pizzas. But whatever it may be, whatever happened, the Raptors did win their 3 games in a row. Unfortunately, it did take them about 58 games to do so, but the Raptors have been ultra impressive in this 3-game stretch coming back from the NBA All-Star break. In terms of the season, the Raptors are ranked 24th when it comes to net rating. Their offense has been bad, and their defense has been even worse. But in this 3-game stretch, I know it's only 3 games, they have a top 5 team in terms of net rating. They are 6th in the NBA in terms of offense, and they are middle of the pack in terms of defense. But keeping that decent defense and very good offense is a good sight to see, because they've played against some teams that pose some big threats offensively, but not so much defensively. Again, it is only a 3-game sample size, but maybe that recent win against the Indiana Pacers in particular is where the Raptors have looked the best they have looked all season long, posing great threats to the Indiana Pacers defensively and moving the ball extremely well offensively. So over the course of the video, we're going to investigate what the Raptors are doing differently and how they are finding success in doing it. And we're going to finish off by saying, is this something that is sustainable for the rest of the season? And can the Raptors really make a playoff push or a play-in tournament push at the very least? So it all started when they returned from the All-Star break at home with a win against the Brooklyn Nets. It was a resounding fourth quarter by the Raptors after briefly over the course of the game leading by double digits on multiple occasions, then coming back to about even sort of game, then to really taking advantage in the fourth quarter, taking advantage of a very poor Brooklyn Nets team. That then turned into back-to-back wins on back-to-back nights by going to Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Hawks as 7.5-point underdogs. Once again, defense was on display for the Raptors in very good fashion, and it all culminated into what I think, again, was the best performance of the season in the win against the Indiana Pacers. With the Raptors' defense was absolutely locked in, specifically on Tyrese Haliburton, and on the offensive end. I have not had more fun watching the Raptors play this season because of the way they move the ball on offense. So much of this season, I just feel like the Raptors have just had no game plan whatsoever. On offense, it just feels like everybody's kind of doing their own thing. They want to be a playmaking team, yet it still feels like everybody's trying to do their own thing. There's no structure there. Defensively, the Raptors want to be a team that maybe doubles a little bit, blitzes a little bit up on the top of the 3-point line, but rotations have been so slow or even non-existent so often this season. Navigating screens on the perimeter, just keeping with your man on the perimeter has been so difficult for the Raptors to do this season, which has turned this team into one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, despite having so many talented defensive players. Well, all that has changed in the last 3 games here. Darko Rajakovic in particular made reference after the All-Star break that the team put emphasis over that All-Star break on working on defense. And again, it's only 3 games, but if there was an emphasis on working on defense, it's worked. And we're starting to see that actually show up on the court, which is great to see. We'll give Darko credit and the coaching staff credit for putting the steps in place to make this team better defensively, because it has absolutely showcased itself. Like, it's not, I guess, super impressive to put on outrageous offensive nights against the Pacers and the Hawks. Those are 2 not so great defensive teams without rim protectors. That's usually where the Raptors thrive offensively. But to slow down those offenses to a certain degree and performing admirably on defense, that is impressive, especially, again, for a team that has struggled so mightily in that field over the course of this season. But maybe what's been most impressive about this 3-game stretch is just a change in attitude overall for the team. Heading into the All-Star break, morale was low, demeanor was low. We had that horrible game against the San Antonio Spurs where guys aren't running back in transition. Scottie Barnes leaves the game with time still on the clock. It was a broken team, and it felt like there was not going to be any sort of recovery for the rest of the season. But maybe the wheels are just starting to turn now, and you saw in the first play back from the All-Star break even, you saw the change in attitude, demeanor. First play of the game, Nets win the jump ball. Ben Simmons goes for a layup. Scottie Barnes blocks it. Raptors go all the way down the other way, and in transition, Scottie Barnes hits a tough layup. Right from the jump, literally, back from the All-Star break, you saw the sharp change and contrast in attitude and demeanor and morale for this team, and that has translated into some positive play. Whatever you may feel about the Raptors winning games or rather tanking this season, you can't deny that the players are out there trying to win, and they are pumped up when they are winning games right now. And it's kind of nice to see. After all, I am a fan of the team, so I do like seeing the guys on the team succeed and enjoy themselves. That's really what you want to get out of a fan, and watching the 3-game win streak was a lot of fun, as many Raptors fans were rooting for, of course, that pizza party. So the Raptors, again, finding success defensively, finding success from an energy perspective, and offensively, things are just starting to click for this team. All throughout this season, like I said, I just felt like the Raptors had no game plan whatsoever, no plays being drawn up, especially late game situations. It was kind of like is Darko actually going to call a play? But it seemed like almost every set offensively, especially in that win against the Indiana Pacers, the Raptors had something cooking up on offense. It's helping very much to have a guy like Kelly Olynyk in and around the game with his playmaking and his veteran presence and his smarts overall on the court. It's been a dream having Grady Dick really kicking on in his rookie season now, because his floor spacing is vital to the Raptors in terms of what they want to do, especially with those bench units. He's a talented player, of course, when it comes to shooting, talented player at cutting and getting to the rim as well. The starting five, having Quickly as that threat as a shooter, is adding to this team. RJ Barrett has been so dynamic as a scorer. That's been helping the team a ton. Scottie Barnes with a newfound level of energy post All-Star break has been significant to the team. Jakob Poeltl, as a result, feeding off of all this, is improving. And Gary Trent, it's been a down year overall for him, but it's not been a down year in terms of three-point percentage. He's been absolutely lighting it up from three, specifically when he's hitting those catch-and-shoot opportunities, and he's not settling for those difficult sidestep, step-back threes, step-back shots anymore. He's focusing on the ones that he's open on, and having that additional floor spacing and talent overall offensively is just giving him that extra space to operate. But the plays have been working to a T. The game plans have been working to a T at the moment for the Raptors. And again, only a 3-game stretch, but this is the first time all season the Raptors have won 3 games in a row. It's been a long time coming, but I was wondering if they'd even win 3 games in a row at all this season. How about the first 3 games right after the All-Star break? So what does this mean? Can the Raptors sustain this level of play for the rest of the season? 2 of the wins in this 3-game win streak have been away from home, and now the Raptors are on a 4-game homestand. It's, not the easiest of teams, but definitely not the most difficult of teams either. The Raptors will be hosting the Mavericks, the Warriors, the Hornets, and the Pelicans in this next 4-game stretch. Where I really want to see how the Raptors manage is that game against the Pelicans. Now, thankfully, they have a 3-game gap to get there, but the Raptors struggled tremendously against teams this season that pose a big threat in terms of rim protection and pose a big threat in terms of size. The Pelicans are a team that can do that, and we saw that because right before the All-Star break, or shortly before the All-Star break, the Raptors lost by 38 points to the New Orleans Pelicans in New Orleans. But let's see how they adjust when they get there. However, there's 3 games in the middle to see kind of just what this team is. The Mavericks aren't a formidable defensive team. Can the Raptors put a stop to players like Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving? We'll see on that. With the Golden State Warriors, they're turning their season around a little bit here. How will the Raptors manage against a team that's been doing so well defensively as of late? And the Charlotte Hornets, that should be a game that if you're trying to win games as a team, you should expect to win a game like that. So I don't want to jump to too big of conclusions with this win streak here, because we haven't seen the Raptors against any sort of formidable defensive opponent in any way whatsoever. But offensively, they're starting to click. We're starting to see actual game plan with our possessions, actual plays being utilized, how these plays develop over the course of the game, how they're adjusted and tinkered over the course of the game, the amount of options that are being presented. The roster isn't as top heavy as it was to start the season, but it's a lot more filled out. So no more do we have to see like Otto Porter, Jalen McDaniels, Precious Achiuwa, Malachi Flynn, like these guys coming off the bench. Now there's 4 players like we can actually trust off the bench at any given moment. Bruce Brown has been up and down for the Raptors, but it's a player you can trust. Grady Dick has been excellent. I keep saying he should be starting for the Raptors. Kelly Olynyk has been great. Ochai Agbaji is starting to kick on in his Raptors career. 4 guys coming off the bench that you can actually trust to a certain degree as well. You can go further. Jordan Nwora is a guy, like if a guy's injured, you can trust him with some minutes. Chris Boucher has been out of the rotation, but you can trust him with a little bit of minutes if you have to, if injuries dictate you going deeper into your bench. So the roster is more filled out. It's allowing Darko to utilize his plays a little bit more often with more talent spread out, and he's doing very well with it. I've been extraordinarily critical of Darko Rajakovic this season. I think he's absolutely deserved that criticism, but I hold no agenda against him here. He's doing a fantastic job over the last 3 games to produce those levels on defense and produce those levels on offense. Now, we'll just have to wait and see if this sort of run is sustainable. The Raptors are 3.5 games back of the Atlanta Hawks for that final play-in tournament position. Trae Young is going to be out for a month or so. Not the most difficult run of games for the Raptors here. They have every opportunity to put themselves back in the mix. I don't feel as though that's the best thing for this team to go and shoot for the play-in tournament, but it seems there's no signs of the Raptors resting players or anything. They're going to go out and try to win games, so I think they will challenge there. Not because of how good the Raptors are, but the Hawks don't pose a big threat, especially without Trae Young. Brooklyn don't seem to be going anywhere, so the Raptors are right in the mix for that final play-in tournament position. As far as this level of play, if it's sustainable, look, a 5-game stretch with the Raptors have the 5th best net rating, the 6th best offense in the NBA. Yeah, I don't really think something like that is going to keep up, but can they keep themselves around average here? Can they put themselves into the average levels in terms of the NBA? Defensively, they got to be average. Can they be slightly above average offensively? Sure, they are definitely good enough to do that. And if they are good enough to be in those areas in terms of statistics, then yeah, this team can start to win games, and it won't take a Herculean effort to get themselves into a play-in term position. So this level of play, I have my doubts about if this can keep up. However, some sort of semblance of consistency on offense and abilities being shown on a day-to-day basis, actually getting stuff out of these games, that's something that can continue. So we'll see how well it continues, but hey, I'll give credit where credit is due. Darko Rajakovic, the coaching staff, they've put together 3 incredible games by the Raptors. Let's just see if they can keep it going for the rest of the season, and we can have some better evaluations about what this team is doing and where it's going for the future. So what do you make of this 3-game stretch? How sustainable is it? You let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. That's all for me for today. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content, and because when we hit 17,000 subscribers, we're giving away 2 Scottie Barnes jerseys. Hopefully they're all-star game jerseys, but stay tuned for more information on that. We'll see you again next time for another video.